Hello everyone, Vampire218 here, bringing you my Week 3 match of the PFL, the Pokemon Fighter League. I, the coach of your Ontario Alma-Stars, am going against the replacement, or the semi-replacement for Air. I'm not sure what team he is. Either way, this is going to be the match. I wish I could switch sides, but I guess I can't, so we'll be seeing from my opponent's side. So he leads Electros, and I'm thinking I lead with... so I'm gonna have to restart just the match real quick. So I lead with Electros, and I lead with Mega Banette. He leads with Electros. I Mega Evolve first turn because that's the rule. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm just gonna get out as much damage as I can with a knockoff. I see that it does about a third of my health, which is perfect. So I end up going into the Arcanine, and the attack drop doesn't help. I knock off his Rocky Helmet, and so I'm seeing he's a very defensive Arcanine. And so I go into Wobbuffet because I'm thinking, well, Wobbuffet should be able to deal with it, and he burns me. So I'm like, well, shit. Okay, so I take the burn, and I'm like, this is going to really hinder my my match later because this is the answer I have to Mega Metagross. So I'm really afraid at this point. And so I just Encore him into Morning Sun, and it really doesn't help me because I'm seeing more of this Arcanine set, and I hate it quite a bit. I go into Blaziken thinking, you know, this thing will do a fire move, and Blaziken can at least take that. And he switches out into his Melodic, so I go for an EQ. I see the EQ does about a third, and I'm like, that's perfect. So I do a quick calc here for a high jump kick, and I get the lowest roll possible and just shy of killing. And I take a Scald, and I am able to survive the Scald, which is beautiful, because at this point I know that I can go for an Earthquake and kill this thing. And I do, and it's beautiful. I die in the process, losing Blaziken, which really sucks, but it was a necessary thing. So he goes out into Excelgor, and I'm really afraid at this point that this Excelgor has Final Gambit. Because if this thing had Final Gambit, I'm fucked. So he goes into Excelgor, and I go into Weavile, and I'm thinking, I have Sash, I'll Swords Dance, and I might be able to OHKO this thing. So I Swords Dance, and then I go for an Ice Shard here, and it's just shy of killing, and I'm like, oh man, that's brutal. And I die. But I leave his Excelgor at low enough health that it doesn't matter. So I go into Mega Banette again because I'm like, I have priority, I can just kill it, so it doesn't really matter. But I do a good amount to the Electros in the meantime. And then I go for a knockoff, I get a crit, and it matters, and I get rid of the Assault Vest. He Volt Switches me and leaves me at 12%. And then he goes into the Arcanine again, and I'm like, I know I can't do anything to this Arcanine, so I'll go into my Ditto. And I see that this Arcanine had extreme speed and the wild charge as its only attacking moves. He goes into Electros and eats an extreme speed here because I'm not really sure. I mean, I understand why, but he could have gone into Metagross and it wouldn't have taken like anything. I switch out here into Wobbuffet just to see what kind of damage this thing can put out to know its set. And it puts out almost half of my health with that damage, so I'm knowing that this thing is max attack, probably adamant. He goes for a Meteor Mash and kills me, but he eats the Rocky Helmet damage and it sucks. So I go into my Ditto here, and I look at his set, and he has Rock Polish, and Meteor Mash, and Earthquake, and I forget the last move. So he switches out into Arcanine, and he lowers my attack, and I go for an EQ. And I know at this point that this Arcanine doesn't have a fire move, so I'm set. So I EQ again, I get another 40% off, and he Will-O-Wisps me. And now I know that I have just enough damage, because that 40% was a low roll, I have just enough damage to kill this Arcanine. So I EQ again and kill it. Beautifully. Now he has 3 Mons left, one of them being that Excelgor, and I'm really scared of that Excelgor, but I go for an EQ and I outspeed it somehow, which is awesome. So now he's left at 2 Mons, and I'm left at 3 Mons. I'm eating burn damage here, so he goes into Mega Metagross, and I switch out into Shaman. And I switch out into Shaman here because I wasn't sure what the Steel-type damage of the Meteor Mash would do to me. But I'm thinking, I cannot let this thing eat an EQ, and Shaman can eat an EQ. So he goes for a Rock Polish here, just so he can outspeed me. And I do quite a bit of calcs here in between, because... And this is going out to 27Ds, which I'll link in the description. This move right here he taught me in my first league battle ever. I did the calcs, and I was either contemplating Leech Seed or what I actually do, and I figured that if I did Leech Seed, I was just gonna die. I wasn't worth it. So you'll see here, what I go for is Healing Wish. And I Healing Wish into the Ditto. And the Ditto comes in and becomes the +2 speed, or times, yeah, the +2 speed Metagross. So I go for an EQ, and I bring him to 3%, because I'm Scarfed. He EQs me, and he brings me down about about the same amount of damage. I EQ him, and he's dead. And now I know I outspeed this Scolipede even after 1 speed boost, so I EQ, protect, hits. It's fine. Now, I go for EQ again, because I'm thinking he'll go for a bug move, but what really surprises me is he goes for EQ. And it sucks. And now I'm left at my last Mon here, and I'm really not sure what to do. So I click Shadow Sneak, and he protects. So it hits, and it does nothing. So I go for Shadow Sneak again, and it does just enough damage to pull out the kill. So I've been Vampire 218 with your Ontario Almastars, bringing you week 3 of the PFL, barely picking up a kill here. If you like the video and you want to see more Draft League content, please leave a like, share, comment, favorite, and subscribe for more Pokemon Draft League content. Bye!